Not since 2017 has Williams found themselves in the top 5 in the constructors' standings, but that's exactly where they are in 2025. DZ and Tim Hauraney here with you. It's been a bit of a prolonged period for Williams in the wilderness a little bit. That was up until James Vowles joins the team, and now they're on a totally different trajectory. Right now they're in that 5th spot where they're quite a bit away from Red Bull above them, but Racing Bulls are fighting them just below. What have you made of their season so far, and do you kind of think that this is where they're at? Is this the plateau? Is there more to go with this team?
I would say they've been super impressive, and I don't think a lot of us thought that they were going to be this good to start the season, especially 10 races as we're coming into round 10. They'd be this competitive for this amount of time. Even if they were competitive straight out of the gates, which they were, they've managed to continue that momentum on, and a big part of that is simply because nailing every upgrade that they bring to the car. And this is a car that's not going to be heavily upgraded this season either, DZ, because they have to prioritize for next year and how much wind tunnel time and CFD design time are they going to spend on this year's car. And talking to Carlos Sainz yesterday, hearing from James Vowles throughout the season as well, really does sound like they're not going to be doing much with this car. And so that's what makes it just so impressive what they've been able to achieve and accomplish with this car that they have here for this season. And I think on top of that, obviously, is the drivers as well. When you look back at this team, 2017, like you had mentioned, but then you get into like 2018 and things just got so bad for the team, and then 2019, then you have Claire Williams selling the team off to Doralton, and Doralton coming in and pumping a lot of money into the team, luring James Vowles away from Mercedes to come over and head this team. And I think putting the investment into their infrastructure behind the scenes has been crucial for this team. Like, they have really had to spend so much CapEx or capital expenditure to upgrade their facility because it needs it. I've been there. It's old and it needs the refurbishing. And so I think having James have that mindset of like, okay, we need to spend $20 million on this equipment inside the factory. That's the priority, not the race car. And so I think also having James Vowles there at the top and prioritizing things of need in the order that they need to come in has also been just a crucial step for this team.
Also another crucial step, also tied to James Vowles here, wasn't him trying to attract other drivers to the team, make sure that he had a driver pairing that just about anyone would be envious of. And they've done that. They obviously have Alex Albon, who's been doing well there for years, but it was that acquisition of Carlos Sainz that really has seemed to be the big turning point that everyone looked at this team as something bigger, something different. How have you looked at his season so far and how he's adjusted to being with Williams?
Yeah, he's been great. Coming into a new team in Formula One is never an easy thing for a driver. One, because you have so many people you have to speak with and learn. And then also you have a new car that you have to learn as well, which is a really difficult thing to do for a racing driver. It takes a lot of time to learn the nuances of a car so you can take it to its limit. And I think for Carlos, he's been able to fast track that, and it's pretty impressive because I remember hearing from him at the Japanese Grand Prix, and one of his main issues was braking and corner entry and just trying to get a different feel for that with this car. And that's a really difficult thing to do because you're having to change like muscle memory with how you brake and slow the car down, and that's like the first phase of the cornering phase that you need to start with. It's the braking before even turning the steering wheel into the corner. And so to relearn a different muscle memory to try and get the feel that you need to get the car to the limit is so hard. I think for him, he thought it was going to take a lot longer than it did. He actually, it kind of sounded like he actually was going to take up until the Canadian Grand Prix for him to kind of learn that and retrain himself. It came much sooner than that. And I find that very impressive. But I think that also speaks to his work ethic. I mean, every team that Carlos has gone to, he's always started just a tiny bit slow. But then the amount of work that he puts into his craft, but then also working with the team, learning a car, really starts to shine through. We've seen that at Ferrari. We're seeing that again here at Williams. And yeah, like you said, I think this driver lineup is one of the strongest in the paddock. And I think, moving forward, I think Carlos made the right decision in choosing the team.
I was going to say, I want to go on that topic. Well, obviously it was a decision on two sides there.
Yeah.
Obviously it was Williams who wanted to bring him in there, but it was seen as a pretty big risk coming in there and not necessarily knowing the future. Do you go with the sure thing as far as a seat and a team that's certainly maybe going to be in more in the middle of the pack, or do you go with Audi where there's that kind of more sexy prospect?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Joining a manufacturer.
Getting paid good money too.
Exactly, but it has been Audi who, in the background now, has kind of been tempering expectations on 2026. Do you feel that now this is only further vindicated that Carlos has made the right choice, even though Carlos Sr. definitely wanted those 4 rings on his tracksuit?
Absolutely. I think when you look back, and if you're Carlos Sainz, you have to be happy with the decision that you've made. Mm-hmm. There were a couple of teams that he was having conversations with last year. I mean, they had a conversation with Red Bull, they had a conversation with Alpine, they had a conversation with Audi, and they had a conversation with Mercedes. Not a lot of them really wanted to give him what he wanted, which was a longer-term deal. I mean, Audi was probably the only one that was willing to sort of give him everything that he wanted, but I think when he took a look at the project, I think he felt that it just wasn't there just yet. Like, it wasn't ready, and it would have been really holding him back for a number of years. I think making the switch to Williams has paid off for him big time, because what it also does is it keeps him in the conversation with all these other drivers who are closer to the front, right? Like when you're at the back, it's harder to, get your voice heard, be seen, be talked about. It's hard to show what you can really do when you're at the back. And I think making this switch into Williams, he's right in that sweet spot. I think he's set himself up really well for 2026 as well.
All right, let's go to the other side of the garage here with Alex Albon. He's been doing a brilliant job in that Williams car for a while. A lot of people are always excited when they see that name there in Q3.
Yeah.
Great qualifier, also runs great here as well. But overall, what do you make of this? Because there was a challenge that was issued to him this season and having Carlos Sainz as his teammate there, and you've kind of heard it over these radio calls that he's had. Yeah. He's a little bit more serious, which we're not necessarily used to kind of seeing, and very much it seems like he wants to take that next level and cement himself. But what have you made of his season thus far?
Alex is a pro. I think that for Alex to take the challenge on of having Carlos Sainz as a teammate has been remarkable, because it shows the level that he's at. I think a lot of people tend to forget, this was a guy who was a part of the Red Bull Racing program, got booted out of it, was able to latch on to Williams Racing, and has really just rebuilt himself. And I think we're starting to really see, Red Bull really let a good driver go here. I think having Carlos Sainz coming to the team, one of the things for Alex was that, I got to take a step. I got to make another step in my driving. I got to make another step in my qualifying performances, and I have to take another step in how I work with the team and how I bring the team forward. And those two combinations of Carlos Sainz doing something similar to what he's always done, and Alex Albon answering that challenge, you can see the confidence inside the team, and you can see how strong of a team that they have now, much more so now than they ever have had in a long time.
Well, Williams, no doubt, has taken a big step forward this season. They're in that 5th spot, but Racing Bulls, they're right on their heels. So coming off of a triple header in Europe where things didn't quite go their way, they're really going to want to get things right here in Canada.